Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ivano Armayuda from 5BD. I want to presentation about sampling technique in research methodology meeting 7. Okay, and in a PowerPoint I make three subtopic for in for the first is a definition, second types of sampling, and the last purpose of sampling. Okay, for the first explanation is a def- definition of sampling. Okay, uh, according to Margono, definition of sampling is a way to determine a sample was number correspond to the sample size that will be the actual data sourced by paying attention to the characteristic and distribution of the population in order to obtain a representative sample. Based on Zainuddin, the sampling method is to make it easier to determine the subject or object of the research, where the data will be collected in what amount, and the next derivation of the sampling method is the generalization, that is the inference of the population based on a sample of that population, and also what important sampling method, uh, because the sampling method will determine the external validity of uh, the research result in the sense of the determining how broad or general the research conclusion are. It can be concluded con- it determined concluded that the quality of the sampling will determine the quality of the conclusion of the study. Okay. For the next slide is types of sampling. Okay. The types of sampling, there are two types, like such as probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Okay, for the first is probability sampling. Probability sampling, that means that every member of the population has a chance of selected. It is mainly used in quantitative research. If you want to produce results that are representative of the world population, you need to use a probability sampling technique. There are four main types of probability samples. For the first, such as first, simple random sample. Second, systematic sample. Third, stratified sample, and fourth, cluster sample. Simple random sample, that is to collect a random sample. The researcher for assign a serial number to each population by making a list. Each individual has a different number. After all, numbers are the collected. Researcher randomly randomize any number that appears the individual with the number that appears in the research sample. Okay, that is a definition. For the second, systematic sample is a systematic sample is carried out systematically with a random initial process. Initially similar to random sampling, researchers number the entire population. The list of the population number is short, then the order of the number in the list is shuffled. After being randomized, for each particular calculation, one sample is taken. Count again, one sample is taken again to be examined, and so on until the number of sample is in accordance with the original plan. Okay. For the third, stratified sample. Stratified sample is also similar to random sample. The difference is a researcher divide the population into several stratum or levels. After the population is divided into several uh, uh, after after the population is divided uh, into several stratum, random sampling is carried out at each stratum or level. The number of samples taken at each level is proportional. Okay, for the last is cluster sample. Cluster sample also involves dividing the population into subgroups, but each subgroups uh, uh, but each subgroups should have similar characteristic to the whole sample. Instead of sampling individual from each subgroup, you randomly select entire subgroups. If it's practically possible, you might include every individual from each sample cluster. If the cluster themselves are large, you can also sample individual from within each cluster using one of the techniques. Okay. For the next slide is a non-probability sampling. This technique is called non-probability sampling. This technique is called non-probability because the sample collection process does not provide equal opportunities to each individual in the population. This type of sample is easier of the cheaper to access, but it has a higher risk of sampling bias, and you can use it to make valid statistical inference about the whole population. Okay, there are 4 non-probability sampling, such as first convenience sample, second voluntary response sample, third purposive sample, and last null sample. Okay, for the convenience sample, simply includes the individual what happen to be most accessible to the researcher. This is an easy and in an explicit way to gather initial data, but there is no way to if the sample is representative of the population. So it can produce generalizable results. Okay, second is a voluntary response sampling. That is similar to the convenience sample, but voluntary response sample is mainly based on of access. Instead of the researcher choosing participant and directly contacting them, people volunteer themselves. For example, by responding to a public online survey. Voluntary response sample are always at least someone biased, as some people will inherently be more likely to volunteer than others. Okay, third is a purposive sample. This type of sampling involves the researcher using their judgment to select a sample that is most useful to the purpose of the research. It is often in qualitative research where the researcher want to gain detailed knowledge about a specific phenomenon rather than make statistical inference. An effective purposive sample must have a clear criteria and rationale for inclusion. Okay, for the last is a snowball sample. This is a sampling technique is suitable for use when the population size is difficult to determine and the issues discussed are quite sensitive. Snowball sampling is a chain sampling technique. the informant's knowledge of other potential informants for the research becomes the basis. Researchers usually find it difficult to find individual who are worthy of being research subject without information from the previous informants. Okay, for the last subtopic is a purpose of a sampling. That is, according Sugiarto and Martono, there are 4 purpose of a sampling technique. For the first is if it is not possible to observe all member of the population, it can happen if the member of the population are very large. Second, observation of an entire population can be destructive. Third, save cost, time, and energy use. And last, or 4, able to provide accurate, more comprehensive, and in-depth comprehensive information. Okay, I think that's all for our presentation. Thank you for watching and listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.